y'all, it's Charlene from the Crafty Art Shack, and today we're going to be working on those fall projects again. Today we're going to make a wreath. Since we've got our table centerpiece done, we're going to make a wreath for the front door, and then we'll see what's next. So let's get this show started. Let's get to the craft desk because I got some stuff to show you. Ready? Let's go. Okay, y'all, we're here at the craft desk today, and let me get us set up since I forgot to do that part. Okay, let's get our little table in front of us, our baby wipes over here, because we're definitely going to need those today. And the first part of the project is I took one of the Dollar Tree signs, and I already started it to kind of help us speed us along in the video. I already started it, and I always like to take my signs, and this came off of a post sign, so I always like to take my signs off and paint the back of them black. It just gives it a more finished look for your projects. And so
my fingers are going to get a little bit of black paint on them because that's not quite dry just yet. But what I wanted to show y'all
is the front of it. If you're painting the back, and I paint these little edges along here, and let's say you get paint right here on the front, I always take a baby wipe to my projects anyway. And so like if I got paint on the edge of it, I will just take that baby wipe and rub where that paint's at and kind of blend it in with what's going on, and it kind of takes the shine off of it a little bit to make it look more like a like you made it instead of like you just store-bought it. And this, just by putting the black on the back, makes it look more store-bought, and I mean looks more like you made it. And then if you'll notice right here in here, I already got black paint down here from the tires, and I just took this little baby wipe and I just wiped along there. And as you wipe along, it'll take and add those streaks up into your project. And I just kind of go along, and like if I'm going along the truck, I'll match the streaks to go with the pattern of the truck. It's just like the bumpers going back and forth this way. That's what I'll do. And I call it baby wipe painting. That's what I call it. Okay, and so now that we've got that done, we're going to take and let this dry, and we're going to work on our wreath. This is okay, y'all, we got everything cleaned up from the paint, and the paint that I was using was just a black apple barrel paint. You can use a black chalk paint or whatever you want to use to do this project. So that's the color paint that I used. The next thing I got was can y'all see that? It's a wreath ring from the Dollar Tree, and mine just happened to have one of these sections missing, and I didn't see that, but that's okay because we don't need it. So let's get started decorating this wreath. I'm going to try to have it sitting here so that y'all can see what I'm doing to it, as well as getting it started.
You know what? I think I need a hot glue gun. Yeah, I forgot to take it out. I like to do a lot of my projects without the hot glue gun, because I like to be able to use the same things over again. She got a whistle. Where's the flap? We're just gonna start videotaping, and let's just work. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna work and tape at the same time. Okay, so what you see me doing here is I'm folding the tooling in half, and I'm going to put the little wire in it right now, and I'm going to take and hold it there and wrap the floral wire around it, and that's going to cause it to be stiff And then I'm going to cut a piece of this little material strip and put it in there because I want this to be my accent material. And I'm going to take the wire and wrap it around it one more time and to get it and hold it in place. And then
okay, what we're doing here is I'm going to show you how to fold this. I'm accordion folding this piece of material. I'm going to lay it back down over where I've already laid the tooling and wrap the wire around. And I'm going to wrap the wire, floral wire around that again. And then when I look at it and it's what I want, then I'm going to take and remove the wire from the bottom of it once. Okay, this is the wire that I'm removing from it, and then I'm going to attach it to my wreath after that. Okay, what I'm going to do is attach it to the wreath, and I turn the wreath, but it really doesn't matter where you start at on the wreath. And I'm going to attach both of these that I made, one to one side and one to the other side, because this is going to start the center of my design. Okay, so I'm attaching the other side now, and if you'll notice that cutout section that was missing on my wreath thing is kind of where I used to decide where I was going to put and start the center of my design. But you can start anywhere on the wreath. And because you can start anywhere on the wreath, these wire wreaths are divided into sections, so I just used one section to decide where my center was going to be. And you can make your centers of your design as wide as you want, but I chose to make mine one section wide. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm adding my flowers, and you'll see how I attach them to the wreath. I take the leaves and use them kind of as an anchor with the glue gun, put the glue down, and then take and fold the leaf over around those sections on the wreath wire, and then I cut off close to the stem and cover it up with the leaves that are there, and then I fluff it out and get it ready for the next flower. Okay, if you don't have these little pink silicone fingers, the Dollar Tree sells them, and these are perfect for this craft. Okay, we're just gonna go right through this and keep adding flowers to this, and that is my center section that I'm working on. That's where my center is going to be, and so I'm putting everything, I start from the outsides and work in. Okay, so that big flower that I was putting on has a alligator clip on it, and I put that on, and I decided to take it off, and then I took the leaves, the fall leaves, and wove them in between the wires of the wreath form, and then reattached my fall leaves there. And so that's what you see me doing, and then I'm moving it over because I'm going to attach another set of fall leaves in there, and they should be right here, and we're going to just weave it in one wire and up through the other wire of the wreath form. And that's what I'm showing you right here, and that's going to pretty much hold those leaves in place and we can adjust them and turn them like we need to until we get them like we want them. Okay, I just keep adjusting those leaves until it looks like I want them, and that's good. So now I'm going to add the hot glue in, and I'm going to hot glue the fall leaves and the big flower in, and then I'm going to come back after I've put plenty of glue on this, and I'm going to come back and trim those fall leaves down so that they are not sticking up like that, because we don't want those wires sticking out. And I just trim them down to just about to the edge, but where they still stay. And I save those wires because we will use them in other projects. I always save all my pieces. Now I'm turning it over and looking at it and seeing what needs to be added and what doesn't. Okay, we just continue around filling in all the gaps so that we don't see any of our wreath form behind there. And so we're adding more fall leaves, doing the same method that we did with the first couple of flowers and the fall leaves. And we'll just continue to fill it in all the way around, and that's what we're doing now. Turning it over, checking and making sure everything's where we want it before we actually secure it in place. And then if you'll see me on this one, I'm just bending the wire around instead of gluing it down at this point. That way these don't keep moving on me, and I'm doing where I go weaving it in through that wreath form again. When you're making one of these wreaths like this, you want to make sure that once you decide where your center is going to be, that whatever you do to one side of that centerpiece, you want to make sure that you're doing it to the other side. And it's like you see where I added the orange flowers, I added orange flowers to the other side. If it's the center, you can use one, like I did that one big flower. And we did this whole project for approximately $6 in the whole thing. And I'm sitting here looking at these big flowers, and I decided, nah, that's too much up there. Okay, now I'm taking the orange ribbon that I had for the little red wagon project, and I'm going to start wrapping this around the rest of the wreath form until I'm starting on one side, gluing it down, and going all the way around to the other side. Okay, what I'm doing here is fluffing out the wreath, and then I'm going to go and adjust the orange ribbon that I just put on to make it fit all the way down the edge of the wreath to fill in down to where my flowers were. Okay, now I'm taking the 2-inch strips that I cut earlier, and I'm going to take those, set the wreath aside, lay the two pieces together, and put glue there. And then I'm going to just continue gluing each one of these together until I have one long strip. Okay, now that I've got all the pieces, this is the last one I'm gluing on. Now that I've got them all done, I'm going to take and wrap that around my hand and wrap it up so that we can wrap it around the wreath form like we did with the orange ribbon, because if we don't, then we're going to sit there and have to pull it through, and we could damage our flowers if we didn't do it that way. Okay, we're going to hot glue the beginning of it, and then we're going to wrap it all the way around our wreath form until we get to the other side. And as we're going around, we're going to make sure we leave a space in between each of the times we wrap, because we want that to show some of the orange ribbon that we had wrapped on there previously. And then we'll hot glue the end of it. Okay, what we're doing now is adding some hot glue to those little strips that we put on at the very beginning, and we're attaching it to that tooling because we want it to stand up, because it keeps flopping over. So in order to make it stand up, we got to attach it to something stiff, and so we're going to attach it to that tooling. We're going to do it to this side, and then we're going to do it to the other side. Okay, now we're going to bring in our little Farm Fresh pumpkin truck and decide where we want it to go. We're looking at the center, and then we're going to try it over on one side, and then we decide that down here at the bottom is where we're going to tuck it in and put it, because that's the place we decided that it looks the best at this point. So that's where we're going to put it. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take the hot glue gun, and I've took some pipe cleaners, and I'm going to hot glue this little truck to the pipe cleaners to the back of the little truck, and then I'm going to wait for it to dry really good before I attempt to wire this onto the wreath form. Now that I'm waiting for the pipe cleaners to dry, the glue to dry on the pipe cleaners on the truck, I'm going through, and I decided that this needed a little bit more dimension from the side of the centerpiece, since we decided to go with the truck in the position that we were going. So I'm just adding some more long sprigs of flowers and little leafy like vegetation in there, and I'm using a pipe cleaner to attach these at this point, because everything is so tight in there, there's not much room, and it's easier to get those little pipe cleaners in there and tighten that down. And so that's what I'm doing right now, is just tightening that down and putting those flowers in. Okay, after I finish this, I add the flowers, the sprigs, to the top and to the bottom, and then I go ahead and wire on my little red truck to the bottom part and adjust it, and then we are finished with this wreath. We'll add a hanger to it, and that'll be it. And the adding the hanger to it, you don't have to put one on it. We just twisted a pipe cleaner at the top and put one on, and made it so it would fit in there just perfect. And then took our pipe cleaners and aligned the truck where we wanted it and twisted it on, and it's a finished product.
Okay, y'all, we're back from the craft desk, and we have really made a cute wreath out of our Dollar Tree items. This was Dollar Tree material, Dollar Tree ribbon, Dollar Tree flowers over here, and then our Farm Fresh pumpkin. I don't know if y'all can see all the stuff up at the top, but this will hang to the side. We put a hanger on. All of this stuff can be gotten up the Dollar Tree, everything all the way down to the glue gun and the paint that we used. And isn't that just gorgeous? And look what it'd look like on the front door of your home. And isn't that just gorgeous? Like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Y'all have a great day, and thanks for watching us here at the Crafty Art Shack. And let us know how you like our new format of how we're laying out our videos for this episode, or if y'all would rather have more details in how we do things. We'll see you on the next episode of the Crafty Art Shack. Bye! I'm trying to think of what that word is. Dry on there. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I gotta find a place to put it. Trying to have everything in the camera shot is not always that easy when you're working on these bigger projects. Hold on just a minute. I'll be right back. And what am I gonna do? Let's see. How am I gonna start this? What do I want to do? The pondering begins. I thought I knew what I was gonna set up on here for y'all. Okay, let's see. I want to do something that will impress y'all. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I'm gonna just start decorating. I'm gonna quit talking, and y'all watch this wreath as it comes to life from just a circle.